Hey y'all, it's Vanessa with Farmgirl Gardens and Market. It's dang near 9 o'clock. This is not coffee and I'm not sorry. Cheers to all of you mamas and papas that are thrown into the chaos right now with having to homeschool. And if you're like me, having to homeschool and run a business and a farm and all the hats. So I just wanted to be out in my garden for a second. And I noticed that since I've been neglecting it, the watermelons have been taking off. So let's chat watermelons real quick. I don't know if you're supposed to do this on YouTube, but it can be coffee now. Here we go. So when you need to decide if your watermelon's ready, the very first thing that you should do is remember what type of watermelon did you plant, because that is the secret to knowing the window for its ultimate ripe maturity date. The next thing that you should look for, and why that's important, y'all, is because yes, it's fun to get them to go crazy big, but if that was not their genetic legacy, if this was a sugar baby watermelon and you're just letting it get bigger and bigger, you're going to lose flavor. And also, secret, it's not getting any bigger. It's just the rind that's getting bigger if it's one of those smaller varieties. So, know what you've planted and harvest it per its maturing date. Then, if you don't remember or you need some help, we need to come in here and look for yellowing on the underside, okay? And so we are actually not quite right there because this is a tender sweet, and so he'll get much more yellow than that. Another thing that we're looking for is what's called the spoon leaves. I'm gonna see if mine still have them on here. I probably should have checked that. Oh yeah, okay, well my spoon leaves are actually dried. So that is your second indication. If your spoon leaves have dried up, you're going to be ready to harvest in about 1 to 2 weeks. You really just need to watch it, because if you get a lot of rain suddenly in that sweet spot of a window, you could get cracking, and then of course the ants are going to eat it before you do. And guys, can you see back here? You see this one? This is one single plant. I don't even know if you can see all of that. Here, can we see this? Sorry. That's one single plant is doing all of this. Here, look at this. Do you see this? That is one watermelon plant. Y'all. And here's the thing. I didn't do anything fancy. I'm not feeding this garden. I'm not even treating it right now, okay? We are in survival mode. Why is my garden thriving? Because I designed it with fertility as the foundation. And so that's why I'm always talking about soil fertility. That's why I'm always talking about layering your carbon and your nitrogen sources. Because you guys, I have globally ignored this garden for 8 weeks. 8 weeks since I have an 8-week-old, by the way. That's why. It's not his problem. He's a baby. It's because life's crazy and I'm busy. But if you can believe it, maybe twice a week this gets watered at this point and it's still thriving. Why is that? Because these mounds, these 5 mounds here, were designed as berms. And since they were designed as berms, hugelkultur berms, they have been layered with sources of carbon and nitrogen and covered over top of with straw. And that creates a water sustainable growth space that is actively composting at the soil level where the roots are, where the plant needs the most nutrition. I'm walking over to the food forest portion of our pasture because I want to show you a demonstration here. This is the best way to view it. Do y'all see that? This is one of the berms, okay? So each row that you are seeing that is planted, the reason why it's vibrant and fertile is because a lot of compost, manure, really rich sources of biomass were layered in that bed. And so it was designed to be fertile. And because of that, I can work a little bit less. So even though the garden's looking a little bit crazy, the community garden demonstration, it's looking a little bit crazy, it's gonna survive. I'll get a break this week and I'll get to come back out here. Y'all don't get to see this portion much. This is the beginning of our food forest. It's also a functioning berm serving the purpose of diverting this watershed, which actually you can really get a good idea of this if we go up a little bit. Sorry, this is upgrade. Do you see the topography behind me? Do you see that rut right there? That's because of watershed. And so if you live in an area that, was cattle, ranch farmland for a long, long time, and then suddenly developments pop in, what happens is you've aggressively removed your topsoil in place of concrete. And a concrete jungle is a great way to erode topsoil and create flooding issues. So city planners and developers really do need to be mindful of that. And if you are an individual that is noticing a change in the grade of your land, you actually have rights in the state of Texas to do a Public Freedom of Information Act on your city to see if they have a water engineer or a city planner responsible for doing water studies. Because if your city is large enough, they actually do have a requirement, I believe it's an EPA requirement, to do watershed studies. And so you can actually get some help on the city side if you're fighting soil erosion. This is a lot to unpack in a video that started out with me not planning on making one. I hope that you guys are well. I am doing all the things. We actually are launching Farm School here at the farm. It's a small pod style curriculum supplement providing agro-STEM education and real-life STEM applied on a farm. So I will leave links below to that. It is obviously for Lucas locals because we're going to be out here in the mornings. It's still Texas, it's still hot. But if you want to be part of that, I would love for you to join. And again, I'll leave more information in the show notes. Until then, until next time, bye y'all. Hope you're well.